Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Monday, August 29th, 2022. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. Please be careful out on the roads. Kids are returning to school today, and they will be walking, biking, and waiting for school buses that may or may not show up. If you need to, leave a few minutes early for your commute, but please keep an eye out. We don't need any more pedestrians hit. Okay, we do have a bunch of news today, so let's get into it, shall we? Like I mentioned, be safe on the roads. Over the past week, there have been 4 pedestrians struck and 2 killed in 3 separate crashes here in Anne Arundel County. Last week, we told you about the one in Glen Burnie. On Thursday night, there was another one in Arnold at Ritchie Highway and Arnold Road. A man was crossing against the traffic signal and was struck and killed. Then, on Friday night at Ritchie Highway and 6th Avenue up in Glen Burnie, a pedestrian was walking northbound in the southbound lane when he was struck and taken to shock trauma with life-threatening injuries. In this accident, the vehicle, a 2010 to 2013 white or beige Chevy pickup truck, fled the scene. Police believe it has a white cap on the back and a ladder rack, and anyone that may have any information is urged to call 410-222-4700. And down in South County, 2 pickup trucks crashed in the 600 block of West Chesapeake Beach Road in Owings. 2 children were flown to a trauma center with life-threatening injuries, and 2 adults were transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We should have more details on this crash a little bit later today, so please check back at eyeonannapolis.net for that. And a frightening scene on Thursday night in Glen Burnie. A group of 5 adults were in a parked car in a parking lot in an apartment complex on Mary Lane. They were approached by 3 armed black males who ordered the victims from the car, took their personal property, and then fled in that car. Police did recover the vehicle a short time later, but the 3 suspects are still at large. All are thought to be 20 to 30 years old. Black males, one with a thin build wearing a blue t-shirt, another wearing a white t-shirt and dark cloth on his head, and a third wearing a dark hooded sweatshirt and dark sweatpants. Anyone that may have any information, 410-222-4700. Well, here's some good news for the Bay, but there is still a lot of work to be done. The Oyster Recovery Partnership recently celebrated the 10 billionth oyster planted to help filter and clean the Bay. We've told you a number of times about the planting of spat, which has done wonders. And the latest planting was in Kent Narrows, and Governor Hogan was the one to dump the 10 billionth oyster into the reef. If you want to check out all that Oyster Recovery Partnership does, you want to go to oysterrecovery.org. You can find out all the great stuff they do, along with the best restaurants to support for oyster reclamation and recovery. And somewhat speaking of oysters, we did drop a beer cast on Saturday. You ought to check that out. But we did it on the Wilma Lee, which is actually a dredging skipjack, and learned a whole lot about skipjacks and oystering from Captain Bill. That was really interesting. You do want to check that one out as well. Hey, if you're looking for something a little bit intellectual, St. John's College, by the way, we do have a podcast with the new president, Nora Demleitner, coming up soon, but the college has started their fall lecture series. They are on Fridays at 8 p.m. in the beautiful McDowell Hall, and they are free and open to the public. Many great topics now through December 2nd, and if you want to learn a thing or two, we have a list of them over at eyeonannapolis.net. Remember, Fridays at 8 p.m. And here's a word of caution for you. Intellicheck, an identity fraud detection firm, released a study recently that shows that the FTC has reported an incredible 188% increase in identity theft in Maryland since pre-pandemic times. Now, Intellicheck CEO Brian Lewis said much of it stems from legitimate-looking emails from institutions like banks, governments, and credit card issuers. And I also suspect with the student loan forgiveness, there will be plenty there as well. His advice: verify the email, and if you're unsure how to do that, contact the institution directly with a known phone number or a known website. 188% is a huge number. Be vigilant. I had to laugh at a few pieces in the Capitol. Last week, Clerk of Court Scott Poyer had an editorial talking about the importance of paying attention to the down-ballot races when voting, and I strongly agree with that. But Sunday, a reader was lamenting that none of the candidates in those down ballot races had any information about them or even any websites to learn about them in their races. And I somewhat snickered because with many of them, that's exactly the point. That's exactly what they want. They run for some obscure elected position, and most people will have never heard of them, much less know anything about them, and boom, they have an instant job for 4 years and a great launching pad for a life in politics. I do hope you caught the local business spotlight on Saturday with Laura Richards and Scale Up Consulting Group. Up Saturday, it's Evelyn's, where I just had a wonderful omelet yesterday morning. And today at noon, we do have another bonus podcast with Stephanie Bolster, a mechanic, who has some great tips for getting out of that 2-year-long COVID hangover. And believe it or not, another bonus podcast on Tuesday with Leah and Melanie from the Food Bank, all about Hunger Action Month, which is September. All right, that is a wrap. Thank you first and foremost. And also a quick thank you to our sponsors for today's Daily News Brief, Solar Energy Services, Alpha Engineering, and the Kristi Neidhardt Team of Northrop Realty, a Long & Buster company. Alrighty, and Alsina from CovingtonAlsina is here with your Monday Money Report. And of course, we have George Young from DC MDVA Weather with your locally forecast weather. All that coming up in just a bit.
Another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt.
One of the biggest questions I'm getting asked right now, what is going on with the housing market? Well, when the interest rates jumped up 2 percentage points, mortgage payments went up 20% for the same home. This is starting to have an effect on the number of buyers we are seeing, with 10% fewer home sales than last spring. However, our inventory is 25% lower than the same time last year. What does all this mean? There are more home buyers than homes on the market, so prices are still increasing. Now more than ever, it's time to work with someone who can guide you with solid, proven advice. Wisdom, proactiveness, and intense marketing make a huge difference. Please give us a call today and let us help you navigate these waters. We promise to educate and guide you with your best interest at heart.
That's another moving moment with Kristi Neidhardt of Northrop Realty, a Long & Foster company. To get in touch, call 410-599-1370 or visit kn-team.com.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA Weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA Weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Monday, August 29th. 3 days left in August 2022 and meteorological summer, and we'll end on a hot note. But then very nice conditions are expected late week through the Labor Day holiday weekend. Look for plenty of sun today with highs in the upper 80s to lower 90s with widespread 90s. A good possibility Tuesday, along with a chance of PM showers and storms. Ahead of sunshine and 85 to 90 degrees, 4 p.m. highs on Wednesday. Then conditions turn nicer starting Thursday, which is also the official beginning of meteorological fall, with max sunshine and temps in the mid-80s expected for most, ahead of more sun Friday with low to mid-80s, to be followed by even more sunshine Saturday through Labor Day Monday, with highs each day in the mid to upper 80s. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there today as school starts back up across the county. Stay healthy and be safe, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, along with our website at dcmdvaweather.info. And definitely be sure to download our DCMDVA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google App Stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
The benefits of a good night's sleep are well documented. Sleeping well prevents weight gain, improves concentration and creativity, and boosts the immune system. So, what keeps you up at night? If you run a business, then the security of your computer network may be one of those things. Threats like ransomware and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated and pose a real risk to any business. Don't let these cyber threats keep you up at night. At Alpha, they've been helping their customers sleep better for over 30 years by monitoring in real time and hardening network defenses. And for those irritating IT issues that arise every day, Alpha's just a phone call away, helping your business run smoothly and helping you sleep better, knowing Alpha is on guard. Give Alpha a call to see if they can ease your worries and help you get the rest you deserve. Find them at alphagetsit.com.
You work hard for your money. Is your money working hard for you? Managing and investing, it can be confusing. Ann Alsina, a financial planner from CovingtonAlsina, has been helping people make sense of it all for over 17 years. Are you ready? Now here's your Monday Money Report.
This is Ann Alsina of CovingtonAlsina with your Monday Money Report. The markets fell again last week, although they remained positive for the last month. The week had started strong. What happened? On Friday, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell spoke at the Fed's annual Jackson Hole meeting. Many economists and financial professionals expected him to take a dovish or accommodative stance on tightening the economy and interest rates. This means they thought rates would grow slowly or not at all, or even begin to come down later this year. Instead, Chairman Powell took a hawkish or tightening stance. The labor markets remain strong, and the Fed is determined to bring inflation back down to its 2% goal. Tech company stocks are especially sensitive to interest rate increases, and their declines led the market to drop. At the same time, inflation dropped from 4.8% in June to 4.6% in July, using the Fed's preferred metric, the Core Personal Consumption Index. Powell further indicated the Fed will wait to see more economic data before deciding how much to raise rates in September. As interest rates rise, your credit score becomes even more important. But what happens inside that black box to calculate your score? There are two main credit score providers, FICO and VantageScore. FICO is the preferred score for most lenders, while those free credit scores you get with your credit card or bank account are usually through VantageScore. While not exactly the same, those two scores should be similar. Both range between 300 and 850, with anything over 670 classified as good and 800 and above is excellent. There are four main factors that determine your score: payment history, credit utilization percentage, length of credit history, and recent inquiries. Your payment history drives about 40% of your score. Payments that are 30 days later reported to the credit bureaus and stay on your record for 7 years. The later the payment, the worse the hit. Credit utilization is the amount of credit you use and determines about 30% of your score. To calculate it, divide your balance by your credit limit. Less than 30% is good, and less than 10% is ideal. The length of credit history is also important, as are credit checks, indicating that you are looking to take on more debt. Working to pay down your credit card debt and paying on time are the most important things you can do to increase your credit score. Oddly enough, paying extra on a mortgage or car loan doesn't improve your score, and you may see a temporary drop in your score when you pay those loans off. Your action item this week is to give some money away. Giving money to a cause you believe in is one of 3 ways money really can buy happiness. Find a charity that's near and dear to your heart, buy coffee for a stranger, drop off food at the food bank. Personally, I love Pips Stand By Dogs, where you can purchase a hot dog for anyone who's hungry and can't afford a meal. Grab one of their burgers, a hot dog, or a cheesesteak, and leave one for someone else. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and check out our website at CovingtonAlsina.com. Investment advice offered through Great Valley Advice Group, a registered investment advisor. All performance references historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions voiced in this show for general information only are not to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be appropriate for you, contact the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. And if you don't have a financial advisor, come talk to us. This is Ann Alsina with CovingtonAlsina.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.